Ezzy Talk Sports. Today we're talking football and we're back with another video. At the time of recording, can't see that there, it is 1 a.m. after deadline day. The transfer window is shut, the 2-hour grace period is shut, and today we have had a crazy day. The British transfer record's been broken, we've had other deals go through, we've had other deals break down, and today we're going to go through each team's transfer window and rate them. And then we're also going to see who's had the best transfer window in the Premier League. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. So first we've got the Arsenal, second again ole ole. So for their incomings, they brought in, this is going from most expensive to least expensive. Martin Zubimendi for 70 million euros, Eberechi Eze for 70 million euros, Victor Gyökeres for 65 million euros, Noni Madueke for 56 million euros, Christian Mosquera for 15 million euros, Christian Norgard for 11.6, Kepa Arrizabalaga for 5.8, and today Pierre Hincapié was confirmed for a loan transfer. That's a total of 293 million euros spent. Wow, that is certainly a big amount of money spent. And in terms of their outgoings, no notable outgoings to be honest. Jorginho, Partey, but yeah, they've only raised an income. They've only raised 10 million euros, so that leaves their net spent at 283 million euros. Wow. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that's the highest net spend in the league. I'll correct that if I'm wrong. But yeah, wow. So for 283 million euros, that is the additions they made to their team. I think they made some very good signings. Obviously, all the Arsenal fans, they were really after a striker. Victor Gyökeres is their man. I think for the striker market, he's a decent striker. I think he'll score goals. Eberechi Eze, Arsenal fans seem to be very happy about that. Obviously, my name's Eze as well. But yeah, Arsenal fans are very happy about that signing. I think that's the signing they're most excited about. They really think that's going to make a big difference to their team. Personally, I don't really see it. Madueke, again, another transfer I'm confused at. But yeah, so I think Arsenal's transfer window is an A. I think they've addressed all the necessary holes they need to, but I think Arsenal's problems about why they don't win trophies, why they don't win big trophies, are beyond their squad. I think it's a managerial issue. But yeah, I think Arsenal had a good window, but it's an A. Not an A+, because I think some of their transfers are a little bit questionable, and their net spend is kind of crazy. No, we're going to go with B+, actually. When we think about that net spend, it's going to be a B+. Next, we have Aston Villa. They've brought in Evan Guisan, who's a centre-forward, Victor Lindelof, Marco Bizot, Jadon Sancho on a loan, Harvey Elliott for £35 million. Total expenditure of 65 million euros, that is. And for the outgoings, they've lost Jacob Ramsey, Leon Bailey, Alex Moreno, Philip Coutinho, and a few other less notable players. Obviously, the loans of Disasi, Asensio, and Rashford have ended. Their total, their net spend is £10 million. From seeing online, I think Aston Villa fans are not very happy. Obviously, they've been very, very restricted with what they can do because of PSR. But I think today they've had a very good day. Today they brought in Sancho, Lindelof, and Harvey Elliott. I think, as a Liverpool fan, I think Harvey Elliott for £35 million is a steal. I really wanted to keep him at the club. I think he's got a absolutely ridiculously high ceiling. I think he could be a world-class player. I think he's a great player right now, so I think that's a great signing. Sancho, we'll have to see. Obviously, it's a big name. I'm not sure on the wage structure, but yeah, I can't imagine Aston Villa paying a lot of the wages. But yeah, Aston Villa, they were very hard done by with that contentious decision at Old Trafford on the last day. You know, it'd be interesting to see if they got Champions League football, what their window would have looked like. But obviously, you can't cry over spoiled milk. So I'm going to give Aston Villa's window a C. I think I'm going to give them a C. I think that Harvey Elliott signing has taken it up from something possibly lower to a C. Now we've got Bournemouth. Bournemouth, obviously, they've been absolutely raided this window. But first, we're going to go through the players they brought in. Bafodé Diakite for 35 million euros. Petrovic from Chelsea for 28 million euros. Ben Doak for 23. Amin Adli, who's a winger from Leverkusen, for 21 million. Milicevic, 15 million. Truffert for 13.5 million. And Alex Jimenez for a loan fee of 1.5 million. In terms of the outgoings, wow, where do you get started? Zabarani has gone to Paris Saint-Germain for 63 million euros. Dejan Hulsen, 63 million euros to Real Madrid. Kerkez, 46 million to Liverpool. Dango Atara, 42 million to Brentford. Jaden Anthony has gone. Philip Billing, Sinistera, Travers. It's really been a scary window if you're a Bournemouth fan in terms of outgoings. I think Bournemouth could be in trouble. I don't really know too much about a lot of their signings. Obviously, Ben Doak I've watched a little bit of as a Liverpool fan. I liked him. I thought he was a decent little player, decent amount of talent, but I didn't really think he's going to be a world beater. Obviously, I watched Adrian Truffer against Liverpool on the first day. He looked very good, but you really can't look past those outgoings, man. Their backline especially has just been absolutely taken apart. I don't think they'll get relegated. I don't think they're at risk of getting relegated because they've still got that top player up front, Antoine Semenyo. But yeah, I think this is an F, to be honest. This window couldn't have really gone much worse. They've lost pretty much all their best players. Not replaced any of them with any players anywhere near as good. So yeah, Bournemouth have got an F. Next, we've got Brentford, a team I actually really like. They've brought in Otara from Bournemouth, as we just mentioned, 42 million euros. Malamba from Feyenoord, Coyote, Kelleher, Donovan, Jordan Henderson, and Reece Nelson on loan. And they've also got a couple. They've called up a couple of players from Brentford B. But yeah, I think that's a decent little window in terms of incoming. To be honest, Kelleher again, Liverpool fan. All Liverpool fans rate Kelleher highly. Quality goalkeeper. Otara is a very good signing. Henderson, I'm not too sure of. But yeah, the outgoings again, similar to Bournemouth, is where we really start to look worried. They lost Norgard, Visser, and Mbeumo, who was such a dynamite duo for them last season, and Mark Flecken as well. All in all, let's rattle through this quickly. Not as bad as Bournemouth, but we're still going to go for an E. Brighton, they've brought in Kostouloulas from Olympiacos, an 18-year-old forward for 35 million. Maxime de Kuiper, Tom Watson, Diego Coppola, Du Jung-yun, Oscar Oliver Buscagli. Can't say I've really heard of any of those players, to be honest. Let's have a look at their outgoings. Obviously, they've lost Adingra and Ciso, Estupinian, João Pedro to Chelsea. Tariq Lamptey has left today for a loan to Fiorentina. Yeah, again, not a good window for Brighton, to be honest. But then again, all these players that we don't know, they're probably could be going for 100 million next summer. But yeah, I think probably the most important thing for Brighton is keeping their main players, to be honest. Obviously, they haven't done that in João Pedro, but Baleba is what I was referring to here. Obviously, they fended off the interest from Man United. Their total income was 73 million. They had a positive net spend of 73 million. So yeah, Brighton, I'm going to give them a D. Next, we've got Burnley. For those of you who don't know, I'm actually from Blackburn. I go to a lot of Blackburn games. So Burnley, a team I really don't like. They've brought in Leslie Ugochukwu, Armando Broja, Luam Tuashina, Bashir Humphreys, Quinsley Hartman, Marcus Edwards, Jaden Anthony, Zian Fleming, they've confirmed that. It's Jacob Brun Larson, Max Wies, and Axel Tuanzebe on a free transfer, in addition to Martin Dubravka. But yeah, their total expenditure is £128 million. The only notable player they've lost is James Trafford. But yeah, I don't think for £128 million, I really don't think that's a... sorry, the net spend isn't £128 million. The net spend is £93 million. And for £93 million, I don't really think they've really improved their squad. I think you might as well put them back in the Championship right now, to be honest. That's not even just coming from a place of bias. I really don't think they're going to do well. Next, we've got Chelsea. Is there ever a window where Chelsea don't go crazy? So Chelsea have signed João Pedro, Jamie Gittins, Alejandro Garnacho, Joel Hato, Liam Delap, Esteval, Dario Esugu, Mamadou Sarr, Kenji Pires, Facundo Buonanotte. Their total expenditure was 328 million, and in terms of their outgoings, they've got rid of Noni Madueke, Christopher Nkunku, João Felix, Dewsbury Hall, Ugochukwu, Petrovic, Vega, Broja, Connie Chukwuemeka, Nicholas Jackson, Kepa, and quite a few other players. All in all, to be honest, they've actually recuperated quite a lot of money, 332 million euros, which leaves their net spend at 4 million, which is actually not what I thought. You know, with the way you hear the media talking, it's like Chelsea are spending loads and loads, to be honest. And I think they've actually improved their squad relatively well. I think João Pedro, obviously, he's had a cracking start to the season. I think he's going to be one of the best strikers in the league. Garnacho, I'm not too sure of, but this is the thing with Chelsea. They just seem to sign a lot of players, a lot of decent players with a lot of talent, but there's not really any, doesn't seem like there's any really cohesion or like, you know, plan or like squad building they want to go into it. So I'm going to give Chelsea a B. Next, we've got Crystal Palace, a bit of a quiet summer for them. They brought in Jeremy Pino, Jade Vicandot, Borna Sosa, Walter Benitez on a free transfer. They spent €55 million and they've had an income of 73, leaving them at £17 million gained in terms of their net spend. The only notable outcome was Eberechi Eze, obviously, who is going to be a massive loss for them, €69 million to Arsenal. Palace, not awful, not great. Obviously, they kept Guehi on the last day due to a deal for Igor, I believe, falling through. So, Crystal Palace, not awful, not good. Just going to give them a D. Actually, no. It would be nice to give them a C. As for Everton, we're going to start getting through this a little bit quicker. Tyler Diblin, Thierno Barry, Kiernan Dewsbury Hall, Carlos Alcaraz confirmed, Adam Asnu, Mark Travers, and probably the most important one, Jackie Grealish on loan. Expenditure of 129 million, and the outgoings have only tallied up to €4 million, which leaves them at a net spend of 125 million. Wow. Interesting summer for Everton, to be honest. I don't really know too much about a lot of these players. Obviously, Dewsbury Hall I'm aware of, and Jack Grealish, who I think is going to be an amazing low signing. I believe they've even got an option to buy 50 million, which I can already say right now will 100% be activated. You can literally put that in the comments right now. Bookmark it, it's happening. But yeah, Everton, they've had a good start to the season. Should have beat Leeds, obviously, but that would have left them with a 100% record. 6 points out of 3 games. I'm going to give them a B. Decent window for Everton. Fulham, quiet window up until today. They confirmed the signing of Kevin from Shakhtar Donetsk for 40 million. Benjamin Lakamote, keeper, and Samuel Chukwueze on the loan. Chukwueze, I really used to rate. Obviously, being Nigerian as well. I've watched a lot of him when he's played for Nigeria, and he's always impressed me. No really notable outgoings, to be honest. Andreas Pereira. But yeah, their net spend was 23 million. Again, just probably a bit disappointed if you're a Fulham fan. You're not really looking at that being, really excited. So I'm going to give them a D. As for Leeds are trying a whole lot of players. I haven't really got time to list them all out. Notable ones being Anton Stack, Gabriel Gudmundsson, Lucas Nmecha has been confirmed, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Sean Longstaff, James Justin from Leicester. They spent 113 million euros, and they've not really lost any massive players. And their net spend was 105 million euros. I think it's a decent little window for Leeds. Give them a C. Don't really see them staying up. I think they are the favourites out of the top three, of the bottom three of the 3 promoted sides to stay up in terms of the odds. But I don't really see them beating those odds. I think I think that they'll go down. So I'm going to give Leeds a C. Liverpool. Wow. If it wasn't for the Guehi deal collapsing, their expenditure would have been over 500 million euros. Can you believe this? The days that Liverpool are spending 500 million euros is crazy. Obviously, Alexander Isak, the biggest signing in British history, 125 million, which equates to 144 million euros. In addition to that, Florian Wirtz, 116 million pounds. Hugo Ekitike, Milos Kerkez, Jeremy Frimpong, Giovanni Leo, Orman Pesky. What a window. But obviously, they've afforded a lot of this through their expenditure. They've lost a lot. It's been quite a big overhaul at Liverpool, to be honest. A really big transition year. They've lost Luis Diaz, Darwin Nunez, Gerald Konsa, Ben Doak, Kevin Kelleher, Tyler Morton, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Harvey Elliott, Konstantinos Tsimikas. So their income has been 250 million euros, leaving their net spend at just above 220 million euros. And I think this is an amazing transfer window. I think if it was for Guehi, it would be an A-star, but we're going to leave it an A-star because I think Alexander Isak is the best striker in the world, in my opinion. We've got Hugo Ekitike, who is going to be the best striker in the world. Florian Wirtz, who I'm not keen on so far, but he's obviously a very talented player. Frimpong and Kerkez, obviously Liverpool have needed an improvement at left back, and they've sorted that. They need to replace Trent, so yeah, A-star for Liverpool. We all expected that. Next, we've got City. City have spent 175 million euros to bring in Tijani Reinders, Ait Nouri, Ryan Cherki, James Trafford, Severn Yapan, Bentonelli, and yeah, that's about it. No notable outgoings, to be honest. Obviously, Donnarumma as well. No notable outgoings, to be honest. Akanji, obviously De Bruyne has left, but that wasn't a free transfer. We already knew that. I think City's transfers window's decent. B+, I'll give it them. They've signed some decent players. I don't really think they're going to be in the title race, to be honest, but we'll give City a B+. Next, we've got United. They've signed Benjamin Sesko, Cunha, and Buemos and Lamens, and that's it. They haven't really got rid of any. Actually, I tell a lie. They've got rid of a couple players in these last couple of days. In Garnacho, Anthony, Højlund, Lindelof. Obviously, Rashford's gone out on loan. Their net spend is 176 million. I think this is a poor window from United. I think this is a C. Sesko, I'm not moved by, and Mbeumo and Cunha will be decent. But apart from that, obviously, United are very optimistic of Baleba. I think that would have really pushed up their window. But I'm going to give them a C, to be honest. I don't really see them making massive, crazy improvements or challenging for Europe. So United are going to get a C. Newcastle. Obviously, they've sold Alexander Isak today for 144 million euros, leaving their net spend at 113. With that 130 million net spend, they've got Nick Voltemaider, Anthony Elanga, Johan Visser, Jacob Ramsey, Malik Thior, Ramsdale on loan, and a couple other players on a free transfer. I think it's a decent little window for Newcastle. Obviously, Isak is going to be a big blow, but I think that Voltemaider is decent. And obviously, Isak couldn't stay with everything that had gone on. So we're going to give Newcastle's window a B. Forest have a net spend of 112 million, and I think the biggest and I think the most important thing for them was keeping Morgan Gibbs-White. Obviously, we had the whole scenario. It looked like he was going to Tottenham, and then Mr. Marinakis pulled out his little checkbook and gave him a new deal. But yeah, they brought in Amari Hutchinson for 40 million, overspent in my opinion, and a couple of other players. Their most notable loss, obviously, Anthony Elanga, but they got a nice little fee for them. I think Forest window's been a B, to be honest. Now we've got Sunderland. Sunderland have brought in a whole load of players. Obviously, Mark Guéhi has been recalled by Chelsea, who I think would have been decent for them. They've had a net spend of 136 million. Obviously, they lost Joe Bellingham, which is a big blow for them. But they brought in some great players: Xhaka, Adingra, Habib Diarra, Mukiele, Bertrand Traore. I think they've had a very good window, to be honest. I think if you're a Sunderland fan, or if you're hoping Sunderland stay up, you can't really do much better than that. In my opinion, obviously Leeds, I believe, are the bookies' favourites to stay up out of the three teams that have gone down. But I think Sunderland are the team that have got the biggest chance. Obviously, 6 points from 9. Obviously, Brian Bobby's a great signing as well. I think their window's an A. Do I think they'll stay up? Probably not. It's just so hard to stay up, to be honest. But I think it's a very good window. I'm going to give them an A. Tottenham obviously lost out on Eberechi Eze, but I think they've been the real winners. They signed Xavi Simons for less, who I think personally is a better player. Maybe not literally better right now, but he's a lot younger. And I haven't watched too much of him, so that's why I can't say he's a better player. But I think he's a quality player. They brought in Xavi Simons, Kudus, confirmed Tell, Kevin Danso, João Pelinho, I think is an amazing signing on a loan, and Radnal Kolo-Muani, who's got an option to buy. I think Tottenham have had an amazing window. Obviously, they've lost Heung-min Son on a free transfer. Not on a free transfer. They got 22 million for him, but obviously he wasn't really playing as much. He was kind of being phased out of the team. So yeah, I think they had an amazing window. Tottenham underrated as well. I'm going to give them Tottenham an A. Great window. Next, we've got West Ham. They brought in Mateus Fernandes, Jean-Claire Todibo, El Hadj Malik Diouf, Hermansen, Magassa, Callum Wilson, and a couple of other free transfers as well. I think that's a decent income, to be honest. Actually, no, I don't think there's anything really too crazy there. They've lost Kudus, Edson Alvarez, Emerson. Obviously, Mikel Antonio's left at the end of his contract. I don't really think West Ham fans are happy. Well, I know they're not happy. Obviously, it was a big deal keeping Paqueta. By the way, how great was Paqueta's celebration? If you're a West Ham fan, you have the little phone and he kissed the badge. I would love that if I was a West Ham fan. But yeah, I'm going to give them a C-, to be honest. Not really moved by them. I think they could be in trouble. If there's a team that's going to get relegated that's not in the big three, it could be at the promoted three. It could be West Ham or this final team, which is Wolverhampton Wanderers. Obviously, signed Strand Larson, Tolu Akroderi, Fair Lopez, a couple other players, but nothing too crazy, to be honest. Expenditure of 140 million euros, and when you look at the players that they've got for that, it doesn't really reflect that amount. Obviously, hefty outgoings. They've net spends only 2.5 million because they've sold Aït-Nouri, Cunha, Fabio Silva, Goncalo Guedes. I'm gonna give Wolves an E. I really don't think that's a good window at all. Not at all. But yeah, that rounds at the end of the video. So the team I'm going to go for with the best window of the whole summer, obviously Liverpool. And the team that I'm going to go with the worst, Bournemouth. I think Bournemouth have been absolutely raided, haven't brought in adequate replacements apart from maybe Truffert, and yeah, Liverpool kind of self-explanatory. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. It's a new channel, we're trying to build it up so we can make bigger, better videos. But yeah, thanks for watching and peace.